Hello everybody. Today we're going to talk about WH questions, which we use for open questions. So we learned before about questions, just no questions, which may use an auxiliary such as do, such as have, or they may rely on the verb be in order to make a question. However, if we start with the verb be, if we start with the auxiliary do or did in the past, that question is always going to be a yes no question. So that means that it can only be answered with yes or no. Okay, like if I say, are you okay? You can say yes I am, no I'm not. So we're only giving two options. We cannot really say something like blue or Wednesday, because we are not giving more options. We just have yes or no. So WH questions, they make things a little bit more complex by allowing us to choose from many options. It depends a lot on the question, but we're giving a wider range of options to reply to. So the main ones are what, when, where, who, whom, which, whose, why, and how. We can use a combination of these words with some others, like how many and how much, to get new meanings to these questions. But these are the basic ones. So we have this example here, which says, "When do you finish college?" And the other person replies, "Next year." So once again, this is a question that is asking us a specific time, and the person is replying with a specific time. Because if we didn't have this "when" here, if we had only do you finish college, something like that, that would be a yes no question. Like, oh yeah, it wouldn't make sense because the way it is written, but it would be like yes or no, right? And then we have, who is your favorite actor? Once again, we're going for a specific person in here. Who is your favorite actor? So we have many options of actors to choose, and we can say, as the question implies here, George Clooney for sure. Okay. So as I mentioned before, the way we build these questions is with an auxiliary verb. We still use an auxiliary verb. This is something else that we are adding to this auxiliary verb to make it open instead of close. And as I mentioned, the auxiliaries can be, do, or have in all its different forms. For instance, have becomes has in third person in the present. Do becomes does, etc. Then we add the subject, the main verb, okay, a modal verb, a subject, and a main verb. So it sounds very complex when we just read it like a formula, but it's not that much. We have another example here. When are you leaving? So if we take out the when, it becomes a yes no question. Are you leaving? Yes, I'm leaving. No, I'm not leaving. But when they add when to it, then it changes, and now it's I can say on Friday, I can say next Tuesday. I don't know. I have many options now to reply to it, uh, because I am given an option when it comes to time. Okay. Where do they live? It's not the same to ask do they live as when do they, or where do they live, sorry. Here we're asking for a specific place, not only if they are alive or not. Okay, be careful with this. Okay, we have some more options, but we're not gonna stay there because I want you to check this. We need to keep in mind that when using what, who, which, or whose, we may run in some situations when they are actually the subject. So when they are the subject, we don't really need an auxiliary verb. Okay, it's a very specific case where we're asking about the subject and not something else. Okay, most of the times we're asking a subject some question, but here we're asking about the subject. So, for instance, what fell off the wall? So the subject is what here? Which horse won? Okay, which is the subject here? Who bought this? Who is the subject here? Okay. And to respond to this question, uh, as I mentioned, you don't really say yes or no. It will, if you say yes or no, it just makes no sense. It's like you probably didn't hear the question properly, and you're not giving the actual information they are expecting from you. So, where's the coffee machine? We're asking for a place. It's in the room next to the reception. Okay, we have a specific place. We don't really say yes or no. How old is your dog? So we have many options of numbers to reply to this question. She's about 5. I'm not very sure. Okay, so this is double Jewish questions. They are not that hard, but just the most important thing that I mentioned here is they are used for open questions. They are giving us many options, so they may sound a little bit more difficult because it's so open, but once you get used to it, it's very helpful to know more specific information, because after you learn the basics of English, most of the time you want to know a specific information, not only yes or no questions. So I hope it was helpful, and thank you.